Hi, this is Mike, MPI Exhaust Technologies. Today I'm going to show you the installation of our clamp-on kit on a 2014 to 18 6.0-liter gas-powered Chevy pickup. First thing I'm going to do is I've already taken down the bulk of the exhaust system, but I'm going to show you where I cut it. And the reason I cut it ahead of this 2-bolt flange, GM started this, it was a high failure rate. The bolts broke and they leaked all the time. It was a high failure rate. So I cut it as close as I can ahead of that flange. I want as maximum clamping area for my pulse chamber. After we cut it down, I'm going to just pop it out of the hangers, get it out of the way. We're going to do first thing is we're going to put a little mark on our pipe. And I mark everything because I want to know how far it's on or how far it isn't on. So I'm going to give me an approximate 2-inch mark. We're going to grab our pulse chamber. We're going to slip on our 3.5-inch clamp. We're going to slide our pulse chamber up over the factory exhaust on as far as it'll go. And I'm going to rotate and level it. I'm going to kind of just put it up here in position. The next thing I'm going to do is this front hanger. All of our hangers pop in the factory mounts on the right hand side. We only add one hanger to our system. So hanger number 63 is going to go right back in this factory rubber mount, and it's going to swing up and help support our pulse chamber. It tells you in the instructions where they go, but this is going to help support our pulse chamber. We get everything in position, and we want to make sure it's pulling straight down on our factory mount, so it has load force pulling straight down. I just slipped that up in position. Now I'm going to go front here, put on my clamp around my pulse chamber. I'm going to slide the clamp all the way up to the edge of the pipe so we get good clamping force. I want to make sure it's pointed straight back in the chassis. I want to make sure it's parallel. All of our kits are for maximum wheelbase trucks. In other words, you don't have to concern yourself whether it's a short bed, long bed, or whatever. My head pipes, we design them so they're maximum length, and then we trim them to fit each individual wheelbase. I'm going to simply just slip it over, jam it on as far as it'll go. I want to bottom it out. And then hanger number 64 goes in the factory mount on the chassis. We're going to pop it in the rubber hanger. Make sure it's pointed straight down. Install the saddle. Get my nuts started here. And then I want to make sure it's pulled straight down so the load force on our rubber factory hanger is straight down. I want to look from the side. I want to make sure it's running parallel in the chassis. And I've already cut it like I said earlier. But in your instructions, there's a dimension from this rear end housing to the edge of this head pipe. It's just 33.5 inches. We're going to measure there to there, and this one is 33.5. I'm going to cut my second head pipe to the same dimensions. I'll give you a second dimension here in a moment. But now that we know it's 33.5, and yes, I had to cut about 8 inches off the pipe because, like I said earlier, we make them for maximum wheelbase vehicles. You'll have to trim for your application and snug them up. I'm not going to tighten anything, final tighten anything till I have the complete system on. Hey, our head pipes are slotted, so we're going to crush top to bottom so we get a good sealing surface. And like I said, we want to slide it all the way up to the edge of the pipe and make sure we get a good clamp. And I didn't get it final tightened, I just got it nice and snug, right? This is our muffler pack. If you notice on our head pipes, we run the offset down. We want to allow enough clearance for our mufflers and reuse all the factory hangers. So our head pipes always S down. I put a 2-inch mark on both them head pipes because I want to know how far the mufflers are on or if they're not on far enough. But I have a muffler pack here. They're marked inlet, offset inlet, center out. I slipped a couple clamps on it already, so I don't have to fumble it. And I'm going to slide them all the way on. I'm going to install the hangers from the factory hangers to my outlets. On this truck here, number 65, once again goes up in the factory hanger, slick it up, slide it up in the factory mount. Hanger number 66 goes to the inboard muffler, factory hanger. And I'm going to just pop them over the edge. And I'm going to just finger tighten them here. On this system we're doing on this truck, this is an under bumper straight out the back. It's the same installation procedure if you have a behind tire, which would turn one behind each tire. But this system here, we're using under bumper. So our tailpipe is all pre-bent, one piece. So we're going to come up over here, slip it over the rear end housing carefully. In this kit, hanger number 67 is going to go back here in this rear factory mount. Now I'm going to slip it into my muffler on the right hand side for the right hand tailpipe. Get it kind of in position. Kind of get it roughly set where I want. Now I'm going to start my hanger on the pipe. My hanger will help line up my position of my tailpipe. I want to make it sure it's pulling straight down on my hanger. I want to make sure my tailpipe is positioned correctly. I want to make sure I have shock clearance. I want to make sure I'm pointed straight out the back. And I want to make sure I'm level. I got my axle pipe slid up there, got my clamp hanging on it. This is the tricky part on these Chevrolets. They have 3 layers of frame. They got an inner layer, outer layer, plus a support tube. So I picked a spot, drilled a hole up top. I just took and ran a little 1/4 inch. And yes. But hanger number 68, we have a self-tapper bolt with a 1/2 inch head on it. This rubber mount and the hanger are separate, and they can go on either direction. I'm going to just let it spin there real light. Now my tailpipe that goes straight out the back, I'm going to slip this up in position, slide it in my axle pipe. I'm going to slide it up to my hanger number 68. I'm going to start all this loosely because I want to be able to have adjustment until I get exactly where I want it. We're going to just snug it up just lightly. Get it pointed straight out underneath the frame rail. I want to make sure they're both the same. Pointed there. I'm even going to do a little tape measuring. 13.5. 13.5. I'm going to do a visual from the side. Make sure they're both parallel with each other. And they are. I look from the side, everything's nice and level. In your application, if you need to adjust everything, our axle pipe is still loose, so we can pivot it in the muffler and here on this corner, and we can slide it up and down. With our hanger just being snug, we can slide this hanger up and down, but now I got it where I want it. I'm going to start through. I'm going to take my clamp on my axle pipe and I'm going to orientate it to the 2 little slashes. My slots are on the side. I'm going to roll my clamp. And my 2-inch mark is still right there, but now I'm crushing the clamp top to bottom instead of side to side. Okay, just slip your band clamps on. I decided to point them on the inside down so you didn't see them from the outside of the pickup. I want to tuck them up inside, hide them as best I can. should make sure you have about 3 inches when you slip your tips on. And then I always measure from the bumper to the tip for my distances. From the edge of the corner of the bumper to the edge of the tip. We don't want to stick them way out. It's not a step to get in the back of your pickup. It's a chrome tip. So I tuck them up under behind the bumper, hide them a little bit so when you back into something, that's about 2 1/8. Oh, this one's a little long. 2 1/8. And you can use any reference point to get them exactly the same length. Sometimes trucks have been traumatized when you're putting your tips on, right? They've been hit in the bumper, they've been hit, who knows? Sometimes you have to go off any reference point you can underneath the truck so you can get them parallel. Oh yeah, 10 5/8. Now we're just gonna simply tighten up our clamp. And it's a 15mm socket. Always make sure your drain hole's pointed to the bottom, put the logo on the top. You wanna parallel the band clamp with the end of the tip. And you can measure till the cows come home and get it exactly the way you want. Once you get it all set, then final tighten it. But everything looks good for us. I want to show you some features of our exhaust kit. The biggest thing is, it took me years and years to patent this pulse chamber. This component here, where it comes in dual exhaust in the front, runs through the exhaust system, and then we split it back into duals. This little bump, this patented pulse chamber, balances the length of the long side and the short side. So them 18 to 20 inch exhaust pulses, once they get balanced and split, cannot drone in the cab. Absolutely cannot. What changes the tone of the interior sound is 0, but the exterior sound is our mufflers, whether you're using the Performance Series or turbos out the back, leaving the spare tire, and this is a monster spare tire. We're using all the factory hangers on the right-hand side. The only hanger you have to add to our system is this left rear hanger, and you can see I painted it. So everything clears. You want to double check. I got our brake lines all out and around. There's plenty of slack. I just use the wire ties, get it up out of the way. So there's plenty of suspension travel, 4+ fingers, 4+ fingers, and nothing will ever touch, even if this old guy loads her to the max and squishes it. Our kits are built and designed for maximum performance and maximum fuel mileage. And of course, when you put this system on, your truck's gonna feel light on its feet. You're gonna hot ride it for a little bit. Give yourself a little chance. Let it get used to it. Quit getting on the throttle as hard and your mileage will increase. 2 to 4 miles a gallon. And everybody says, well, how can that happen? When you get rid of the 3 pounds of back pressure or resistance that's built in the factory exhaust system, when you're running down the highway, you don't push on the throttle as hard. That's where it picks up the mileage with more power. This is Mike MPI Exhaust, where we build kits, ship them directly to you.